insane. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names? Broken futures, shattered dreams, end of times.
Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News today, March 25th, 2025. There's some 25s going on today for the numerologists out there. Thank you for joining this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. What do we got today? People tuning in on the X. Thank you guys for tuning in on the X. Anybody on these other? I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let me get to it for you. I don't know how long the delay is in the live and the actual feed. I think it's different on all the channels. I don't know. Barry's blocked on YouTube because of his ad blocker. Wow, they're adding up here. Okay, let's get to the news. What is going on today? It's National Medal of Honor Day. Wars of Racket. We're going to play a clip from Smedley Butler so we can all remember that Wars of Racket as we honor. Thank you for your service, for fighting for our freedom, for killing people, and creating more enemies, actually. That's what's really going on. Smedley Butler told us a long time ago. Two-time Medal of Honor winner, the highest decorated Marine at the time. So you couldn't get a better source. And I don't mean to disparage veterans, those in the service now. But we have to be honest about what the hell's going on with all these wars. We're bombing the hell out of all over West Asia right now. No congressional approval, no declaration of war, not even I forget even what they call not even an emergency powers declaration, like nothing. It's just, oh yeah, go bomb them, talk about it on Signal, and yeah, it's just, why have a Congress, man? Why even have a Congress? I'm going to go on that rant. Let me get to the news. The hooks for the show. We got these AI autonomous robots. I don't know if they're AI autonomous yet, but their movements are getting very Terminator-ish, Skynet-ish here. We've got, they're scanning everything into AI. We got this one video, robot scanning 2,500 pages per hour to feed to artificial intelligence. They're going to start banning books next. They're banning everything, and your only source of information will be AI, controlled by them, the theys, the powers that be, that shouldn't be. What else do we got? There's action going on at the White House. Trump meets U.S. ambassadors. Talk of cutting a bunch of funding to Planned Parenthood, to NPR, to PBS. Cut it all, man. End all government fund. Abolish the federal government. Let's take it all the way to the conclusion. Trump signs executive order overhauling the U.S. elections. All this stuff will be challenged. And again, if it's not codified into law by the missing Congress, then it'll just be overturned by the next guy, or beaten in court for that matter. Trump orders Crossfire hurricane files declassified. And so are we going to see all the Russia hoax instigators exposed here? Maybe. I don't know. They said they were declassifying Epstein, right? Still haven't got that. They said they were declassifying JFK. We still haven't got all that. So I don't know. We'll see. This is in Trump's direct. Trump stands to directly benefit from this. Maybe. I was just listening to Peter Duke report before this. He says they're all actors. I tend to believe him. I think that's where we're at here. They're all actors. Trump, Vance, all of them. And it's just we are watching a movie, and it's all fake, but it's real. I mean, order followers are following out their orders, killing people and violating our natural rights all over the place. So in one sense, it's fake. In another sense, it's very real. You understand what I'm saying here? What else do we got? The big news geopolitically, Russia, Ukraine, Zelensky agrees to a partial ceasefire. We'll see how long that holds up. What else do we got? We got economic news. I thought this was kind of big. I think it is big. I haven't honestly had time to do a deep dive, as they say, into it, but rather concerning. World Liberty Financial has launched its stablecoin dubbed USD1, backed by Trump, the Trump family enterprise here. I'd say it's rather concerning. Bunch more aardvark news today. Just insane. They're either, I don't know, I guess they're all actors too, or they're insane religious fanatics. I don't know. This Huckabee. At one point in time, I used to halfway like Huckabee, but now I've come to learn what all he represents, and it's just scary. They're scary. Because either way, however you see it, are they just actors and fake and puppeteering their useful idiot followers? Are they true believers? I don't know, but he's basically, yeah, you got Huckabee there at Congress trying to get confirmed to be Aardvark ambassador. Says, we believe the Bible. Which Bible? The Schofield Bible? We'll get to all that. It's literally insane. These people are scary, insane religious fanatics. They're killing the hell out of Palestinians. Again. They never stopped, right? They never stopped, but they're cranking it up here now. Aardvarks. What'd they kill? In the last 24 hours, killed 62 and injured 296. All Hamas, obviously. Bunch of news out of there, just beyond the ridiculousness of it all. Like, how did these guys call themselves Christian? I swear to God. God strike them down, man. I swear to God. It's just beyond the pale. It truly is. Okay, we're gonna play. I got to get to this day in history. It's short today. Going way back here on this day of March 25th. Going way back to the year 421. City of Venice, City of Venice is founded at noon on a Friday on this day in the year 421. In 708, Constantine begins his reign as Catholic Pope. In 1807, moving way forward here in history, in 1807, Britain abolishes the slave trade. Now we're just all slaves. So they got rid, and there's still a giant slave trade, but I guess they officially abolished it there in Britain. In 1863, the first Army Medals of Honor were awarded to 6 Army soldiers by U.S. Secretary of War. When we're a little more honest about what is actually going on here in America, Edwin Stanton. I found this interesting. in 1898, on this day, writer O. Henry, sentenced to 5 years in prison for embezzling $854 from a bank, reportedly to pay for his sick wife's medical bills. But the right wingers are going to tell you how outrageous it is that they're cheering on the assassin of the United Health CEO. Is it that outrageous? Is it that radical? And obviously not advocating violence. I can never do that on this broadcast, but I'm just saying, man, the reality of the situation is people are getting effed over life and death every day and getting bankrupt, as is by design of the Rockefeller medical system. And somehow we're supposed to be outraged because this crooked CEO that is fleecing the people all the way till death has been what happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the story goes on of O. Henry that he embezzled $854 from a bank to pay for his sick wife's medical bills, and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Goes on to write many classics while in jail, making good use of his time there, including Whistling Dick's Christmas Stocking. So this story goes back a long way here now of getting effed over by our medical system in America. Another example of it, in 1898, in the year 1900, the U.S. Socialist Party forms in Indianapolis. In 1919, League of Nations Covenant was adopted at the Paris Peace Conference. You could say the contemporary first attempt at one world government. And in 1954, RCA manufactures the first color TV set featuring a 12.5-inch screen and costing $1,000. Let's we got Thomas on the line there. Let's go ahead and we'll play the segue. Barry's in all of them. Thank you, Barry, for checking out all the streams. Looks like we're streaming there, so awesome. The only thing, Rumble needs to be fully integrated here. They're not yet because we can't preload, we can't upload a thumbnail, and it doesn't show me the viewer count over here in my little sneak peek window. Maybe we'll get there, full integration. But I do get to see your guys' comments in the chat, so like we're almost there, halfway. And I did get a comment. Good to see people coming over from Rockfin. Shout out to Clyde Dog over there on the Odyssey. Clyde Dog said, I'm viewing on Odyssey since Rockfin pulled their stunt. Well, thank you for coming over and following Weaponized News, Clyde Dog from Rockfin. I hope other people can figure that out. Okay, here's the segue. I had a couple segues. I don't know, should we play the real cringe one? Or should we wait? Let's play. What the hell? Let's play Wars of Racket by Major General Smedley Butler as a segue to bring Thomas on here. Here's just a 2-minute clip, but on this Medal of Honor Day, it's have we learned nothing? I guess not. I guess not. You still have your order followers, and the poor go die in these wars.
No one had more first-hand experience intervening in other countries than Smedley Butler, now a Major General in the Marine Corps. Adored by his men, they called him Old Gimlet Eye after a wound sustained in Honduras. And at the end of his long and highly decorated service, he reflected upon his years in uniform.
I spent 33 years and 4 months in active military service as a member of this country's most agile military force, the Marine Corps. I served in all commission ranks from second lieutenant to major general. And during that period, I spent most of my time being a high-class muscle man for big business for Wall Street and for the bankers. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism. Like all the members of the military profession, I never had a thought of my own until I left the service. I helped make Mexico, especially Tampico, safe for American oil interests in 1914. I helped make Haiti and Cuba a decent place for the National City Bank boys to collect revenues in. I helped in the raping of half a dozen Central American republics to the benefits of Wall Street. The record of racketeering is long. I helped purify Nicaragua for the International Banking House of Brown Brothers in 1909 to 1912. I brought light to the Dominican Republic for American sugar earnest in 1916. In China, I helped to see to it that Standard Oil went its way unmolested. During those years, I had, as the boys in the back room would say, a swell racket. Looking back on it, I feel I could have given Al Capone a few hints. Best he could do is operate his racket in 3 districts. I operated on 3 continents.
Thomas, how you doing this Tuesday?
Doing well. Good to be here on Weaponized News. We're going to be covering today some information on the genomics scandal of scandals and the massive fraud. In case people didn't know, DNA, and this is a show. The things I'll present will definitely get banned on the big J tech cartel. They'll definitely get banned there. YouTube and the others. So I expect maybe Weaponized News will edit pieces of the show, so people will have to check it out on different platforms where free speech and freedom of reach actually are occurring, unlike Elon Musk's. Now you have Elon derangement syndrome, but certainly the conservatives aren't burning his cars for criminally destroying their accounts on X. So maybe they need to pat some of the leftists on the back for actually bringing some consequence to the crimes of Elon Musk.
Yeah, but they're doing it for the wrong reason. We keep having this divide of they can't figure out. They're fighting the oligarchy now. Where were you for all of your life? It's the same oligarchy. Like their vision is blurred by the left-right paradigm here in America.
Right. Certainly not the big J tech oligarchy. They're not fighting that oligarchy, and that is the real oligarchy.
They're not censored because they're not censored. I was listening to the Wheezy's show with John Bronson on Saturday, and John Bronson said he got his YouTube. He was banned like the rest of us on YouTube, and he said he got his YouTube account back by simply replying to him when he appealed his conviction, right? His deletion. He said
crime.
He said he told YouTube, "I'm exposing Trump," or something like, to paraphrase him, I'll fight to my dying day exposing Trump, and they reinstated his account on YouTube.
Yeah,
freaking hilarious, man.
Yeah, just pretend that you're a Trump hater in there or a Elon hater right now.
If you really want to blow up on YouTube right now, the hottest thing is to go after Trump, and they'll probably give you 1 million friggin' followers and $1 million. Who knows?
Yeah, and go after Elon and yeah, paint some scenario where it makes where it makes sense to defend the left and their burning of the cars, right? So. Hey, here's maybe I'll get some brownie points on the JTube by saying, hey, where are all the wherever the conservatives burning the cars or doing something for destroying their accounts, gaslighting you, stabbing you in the back, lying to you that you're going to have free speech on the X platform, lying to you, stabbing you in the back, and then stabbing you in the face, and throttling you again and again and again and again and again, as he's done, as everybody has revealed and exposed, continuously their traffic going down 90% again and again. Then the social credit score came out on Grok. That was exposed. And then they deleted that off of Grok, so nobody can see that anymore, the 38 score. and the others. And then Grok was showing the algorithms, the 60 to 110. It was first 110 algorithms. 60 of them were detected by Grok on my accounts, censoring it. And now they deleted that, so nobody can find that anymore. Right? So he's stabbing you in the face, first in the back, then in the face. And no consequence at all. And no one going to, you have the cultists screaming at you if you dare say anything about it.
Well,
online.
in honor of that, let's play this clip.
He gave us cars that drive so fast, made rockets built to blast. Oh, thank you, Elon Musk. He took over Twitter's reign. He saved free speech for all, eliminating woke pain. SpaceX flies, Tesla self-drive, Starlink beams with laser dreams. He's got a master plan for our lives. Let's occupy Mars. Let's occupy Mars. And making kids to keep mankind alive. Neuralink is on the way. Boring tunnels save the day. Oh, thank you, Elon Musk. Fighting fights for freedom's sake. Politics, he's not afraid. He won't just sit and watch. SpaceX flies, Tesla self-drive, Starlink beams with laser dreams. He's got a master plan for our lives. One more kid, one more brand, launching rockets with just one hand. Optimus, Cybercap 2, what can't this man do? It's taxes, fraud, some solid memes. Corruption won't stay. And DOGE saving USA. So here's to you, our tech tycoon, saving Earth and Mars real soon. We thank you, Elon Musk. One more kid, one more brand, launching rockets with just one hand. Optimus, Cybercat 2, what can this man do? Oh, thank you, Elon Musk.
There you go, Thomas. The chat enjoyed that as well. Oh my God. You talk about cringe.
Yeah, the guy's a relentless self-promoter. I wonder how much he had to pay for that. He's certainly very good at self-promotion, and you know, it's like a band, and he's the front man of the band, and nobody gets shown in the back. Is always what it is and what it's always been. Same as all of these elites. It's all the same thing. They're the hero out there, and but nobody else. It's they don't support anybody else doing that. You go to any of these Silicon Valley startup centers, Y Combinator, or the others in these industries, and everything's about elimination of that immediately. They're 100% anti-entrepreneurship, but then you have all of these celebrity gods, the influencers, propped up by the Rockefellers, the Esalen Institute policy. Their entire plan is to prop up these new cultural icons, these cultural leaders, to give you these people and feed you them, like Alex Jones and Joe Rogan. Those are two of them that were exposed by Matthew North as being propped up by the Esalen Institute, Rockefeller Esalen Institute. And 2 weeks after he made that video, he was murdered. for exposing that. And here you have Alex Jones, the day that the JFK files come out, and it shows that it was aardvark land, etc., at the root of this. Alex Jones comes out. What does he come out to? He doesn't even say a peep. Doesn't make a peep about the JFK files at all. Instead, he comes out with this mega fraud, distracting everybody. This fake scam story about this underground city supposedly found underneath of Giza, which is complete fraud, absolute fraud. And the number one promoters of that, well, looky, it's Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, the number one promoters online, and Mike Adams.
I believe him, Thomas. Let's get to the news here. Yeah, be careful. Like I tell everybody at the end of every show, do your own research, man. Don't believe me, Thomas. Don't believe anybody. You should be skeptical as hell, especially from these big accounts out there, because especially on the X, it's just propaganda in your face, ridiculously stupid at this point.
And AJ got all his traffic back, right? He got all his accounts back and everything else, right? And what did he have?
He's clearly on board with the, well, he always has been. So very sad there to see. I guess you do what you got to do. We're over here. And thank you again to Chloe for that. We're getting like $20 a show over here, so we're definitely not doing it for the money.
And a notice to Chloe, contributors, new subscribers to Weaponized News and contributors to Weaponized News. I have a technology startup called Alpha Omega Energy, and we are matching contributions to new supporters of Weaponized News. Weaponized News is sponsoring us by having us on the show and so on, and we are sponsoring them and their audience in return. So you can reach out to us, and I'll send you the information on. We're listing a blockchain soon, and any contributors to Weaponized News now, especially the subscribers, get a matching in free token in our upcoming Binance listing. So there's for those who don't know about that yet, welcome to contact me, and I can send you the information on that. So please continue to support Weaponized News and look at our program, and you'll be able to support them even more through that, and get some of those funds returned to you in AOE token once it's listed.
Shout out to Barry. He gave us a subscription over there on Twitch, like the only I think we have one follower, Barry. Hope you're feeling better, Barry. I know you're recovering from the from an illness, and so I hope you feel better out there, sir. Okay, Trump meets with U.S. ambassadors today, and the single signal gate. We'll get to that. Trump freezes Planned Parenthood funding. The Trump administration has announced plans to freeze approximately $120 million in federal funding designated for Planned Parenthood and other similar organizations under Title 10 family planning grants. So no more funding the eugenics there out of Planned Parenthood. I'm sure that will be fought back against heavily. Trump signs order for stricter voter registration.
The leftists are definitely not going to support that. Fighting the oligarchy. They're going to be up in arms over that. You can't fight that oligarchy.
The Trump administration, or Trump today, signed an executive order aimed at enhancing election integrity, which includes requiring proof of citizenship on voter registration forms, conditioning federal election funding on state compliance with these integrity measures, and calling for the Department of Justice to prosecute election crimes. This order also revokes a previous executive order by Biden. There you go. See, he just revoked it. It literally means nothing unless Congress, the lawmakers, codify it into law. I know civics in this country is a conspiracy theory now, but allegedly, supposedly, that's how we're supposed to do things. Shifting focus toward stricter voter eligibility criteria. Maybe they'll bring back the polling tax. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Legal challenges are anticipated, of course. And so all of these executive orders are going to run their way through the court system because Congress is not passing them. And those may even, in laws, may even run their way through the court system, challenged on their constitutionality, allegedly. But who cares about our system, because we just bomb whoever the hell we want indiscriminately with no oversight. So who really cares about any of it? It's all fake as far as I'm concerned at this point. Trump backs move to defund NPR and PBS. The House Oversight DOGE subcommittee, chaired by MTG, is setting a review for funding on NPR and PBS. President Trump has expressed support for defunding these public broadcasters, citing concern over media bias and wasteful spending. Have you ever tried? I used to listen to NPR, or try to, driving in my car when I had a long commute to work. It's freaking unlistenable. It's hate white people. It's pushing equity. But I had to listen to see what the left wingers are saying. And I was just like, damn, man, I hate white people after listening to this show. I was like, I'm white. I was looking in my mirror, driving my car. And I was like, why do I hate myself now? Oh, you just got done listening to NPR.
Yeah.
Damn, man, it's bad. Yeah. It's bad. And this is all during the medical intervention. So I don't even know what it's like now. This is like 3-4 years ago I was listening to it.
So people need to, and it's amazing. I just watched a video of Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, right? The famous prop up, fake child puppet actor, campaigning against demonizing plant fertilizer, plant food that greens the earth and cools the earth. In fact, it can only cool the earth. It cannot warm it. Their model is inverted, just as the Satanists always do for everything. But here she is, interestingly, campaigning against the genocide of Israel and defending the Palestinians. I mean, wow, what a confusing time to be a leftist. Here you have Greta Thunberg, propped up and funded by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers to.
But but see the problem here again, are they truly against genocide, or are they just doing it to be counter to the right wingers? That's right, the problem.
That's exactly what they are doing. It's all a subversion. It's to control it's controlled opposition. Just like you have the rhinos, these other people, that you have these controlled opposition agents, and these are the people on the left to control them, to give them that conservative red meat. So the liberal tiers, right? Give them the liberal tiers of support Palestine, so that they capture those people and capture them into cults, defending everything, right? And then they can weaponize their anger and weaponize their hate against electric cars, against breakthrough energy cars, right? Against the Tesla cars. So now they got the left burning them, right? So they got the conservatives to hate breakthrough energy before by making it just the most hideous, satanic thing in the world by putting all of this left-wing agenda onto it and making it this, like, literally the identity, painting this, that it's the identity somehow of this breakthrough energy, clean energy, right? Distributed clean energy for your house. They demonized this and made people fight it because it's an identity thing. So now they relate that to all of these leftist ideals. So let's say a conservative, right, a moderate, an independent, a Christian, someone like myself, say, comes forward with some breakthrough energy, and it's just block. They see clean energy on their profile come up on X or another. Oh, one of those clean energy guys, block. So it's this kind of brainwashing and manipulation. And Greta Thunberg is exactly that for the left. All of their institutions in Berkeley are exactly that for the left. They're controlling all of this, subverting all of these people, give them a little bit of liberal tiers so that they can get these people all supporting them. Oh, they're our hero politician. And they're literally voting for, right, the J Democrats like Chuck Schumer and these others that are supporting, openly, completely supporting the bombing and the genocide of these people.
But Trump said last week that Chuck Schumer's a Palestinian now, Thomas.
Yeah, donate to Act Blue. As you just keep smashing that donate button on the Act Blue that goes directly to these Democrats on the BLM side, or the climate change website, or the support Palestinian genocide, right, victims that keep donating there. That's what they do. Completely subverted. So, I mean, and most people, 99% of people don't understand this left-right subversion, that it's completely subverted on both sides. And I've just been coming to grips with this literally even this year, that they're both subverted and subverted by the aardvarks on both sides, completely controlled on both sides. And you can see that now with what's going on with the Trump and all of the people behind Trump, etc. You can see that the bombing with no congressional approval, nothing. But it's more difficult, I guess, to see it on the left.
They were doing the same thing under Biden. It's the same government. It's the government, man. People need to get over
the
Democrat, Republican, and your
They are
little
the deep
factions,
state,
and you like tribalism and fighting amongst each other. It's still the same corrupt, criminal, racket, syndicate, crime syndicate, government. It's the same, just different actors in charge. Okay, let's move on. What is going to happen with this drama, though? Russia hoax that took the nation by storm for Trump's whole first term, essentially. What's going to happen here? Trump orders Crossfire hurricane files declassified. And did this guy roll? It's looking like this guy, who's it? Devin Archer. And Trump pardons Devin Archer, business partner with Hunter Biden, who is part of all of these different back and forth, Ukraine, Burisma, all these scandals. And so is that part of the declassification? Did he roll on Hunter Biden and all of that network, all that? So it's basically, the way I see it, it's factions within the crime syndicate fighting each other over the levers of control. And that's interesting. That's where we're at here.
Better Backwards here says, calls her Regretta Thornburg. I thought that's funny. And I just noticed, interestingly, I noticed things pretty well, but the first time I'm noticing this, it's another Berg. That's interesting. I wonder if that's relational, if there's actually a relation there. It's a Thunberg. It's another Berg. Zuckerberg, Thunberg, Goldberg. It's another. Oh my God!
Play,
is there a relation there?
Yeah, maybe it's a whole syndicate of Bergs and Steins. Here's Trump signing that executive order declassifying Operation Crossfire Hurricane.
Next, sir, we have a presidential memorandum for your attention. This memorandum requires the immediate declassification of all FBI files relating to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. This was obviously one of the instances of the weaponization of law enforcement powers of prosecution against you and others. We believe that it's long past time for the American people to have a full and complete understanding of what exactly is in those files.
Which gives the media the right to go in and check it. You probably won't bother because you're not going to like what you see. But this was total weaponization. It's a disgrace. Should never happen in this country. But now you'll be able to see for yourselves, all declassified. Is that correct? Would you say?
They knew what was in there. So
total weaponization. He said, "Well, we're going to see. Will anybody get in trouble? Will anybody get in trouble
for criminally framing a sitting American president? I mean, it's treason at the highest levels. They should all be death penalty. Shooting a firing squad. They should.
They may get the Medal of Honor."
Chloe asking, where do I get in touch with Thomas? Sam will flash my X account here regularly across the ticker tape there, which is X is AOE VC Breakthrough. So AOE like Alpha Omega Energy, then VC like Venture Capital, then Breakthrough, BREAKTHRU. There it is. Or you can reach me at Telegram at AOE like Alpha Omega Energy Black Swan at AOE Black Swan on Telegram. And any platform, it doesn't matter what it is, that you support Sam Chaney on, any of these different platforms, it's all the same. We will match that. We have a matching program for that. So just get in touch with me, and if anybody wants to look into it, just send me a message and I'll send you our matching, and we'll do a commercial on that later.
Michael Kratzios Michael Kratsios, confirmed as he's confirmed by the Senate as Director of Office of Science and Technology Policy. And so you'll probably never hear from that guy again, but he's behind the scenes setting policy for science and technology.
Come out screaming science, possibly.
At some point in the future, he may. Devin Archer has been pardoned by Trump. He was previously convicted in connection with fraud scheme and later served as a witness against Hunter Biden in congressional investigations. So what do we make of this, if anything? Why is it feels like he's got to be ratting or something? Why would Trump be pardoning, or maybe this is payoff for him giving testimony against Hunter in a congressional investigation?
Yeah, it'll be one or the other. No doubt about it. It'll be one or the other. But he was Devin Archer. He looks like he's turning state's witness, but he was leaking some information before. So probably the DOJ was trying to shut him up with this prosecution deal and whatnot. And now there's a plea deal of some kind. And here it goes. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, he got pardoned, so the government made good on that part of the deal. Okay, climate change omitted from 2025 threat assessment. During a recent Senate Intelligence Committee hearing, Senator Angus Young expressed confusion and concern regarding the exclusion of global climate change from the 2025 annual threat assessment, a topic that has been consistently included over the past 13 years. The DNI, Gabbert, explained that the assessment focuses on the most direct and critical threats to national security, and climate change is not, under the Trump administration, considered a direct threat to national security. What are we going to do about this? This is outrageous.
Well, Greta Thunberg's busy campaigning for the genocide of Palestine, are against it, I guess. Funded
Does she know about this? Somebody needs to tell her that climate change is no longer considered a national security threat for America.
Well, Bill Gates is not in the climate business anymore. His taxpayer transfers from the taxpayers, from the poor to the rich, were stopped. So he's not in it anymore. Now that his taxpayer-funded transfers from the poor to the rich, right to the oligarchy, which of course the leftists love Bill Gates more than anybody else. He's their god. You can't dare question. Well, certainly can't fight against that oligarchy. But the number one donor to the Clintons, number one donor to the Biden crime administration, they certainly can't fight against that oligarchy. Now he might be out of the genocide game possibly, but probably not, as we all know. If his Planned Parenthood transfers, his Negro Extermination Project transfers, are going to be shut down.
Let's play Angus Young here, outraged, as am I. Now I'm for climate change. Damn it. They always trick me, Thomas.
I want to move on. One note that surprised me, I've been on this committee now this is my 13th year. Every single one of these reports that we have had has mentioned global climate change as a significant national security threat, except this one. Has something happened? Has global climate change been solved? Why is that not in this report? And who made the decision that it should not be in the report when it's been in every one of the 11 prior reports?
I can't speak to the decisions made previously, but this annual threat assessment has been focused very directly on the threats that we deem most critical to the United States and our national security. Obviously, we're aware of occurrences within the environment and how they may impact operations, but we're focused on the direct threats to Americans' safety, well-being, and security.
How about how they will impact mass migration, famine, dislocation, political violence, which is the finding, by the way, of the 2019 annual threat assessment under the first Trump administration? You don't consider that a significant national security threat?
For the intelligence community, being aware of the environment that we're operating in is a given. What I focused this annual threat assessment on, and the IC focused this threat assessment on, are the most extreme and critical direct threats to our national security.
Let me ask a direct question. Who decided climate change should be left out of this report after it's been in the prior 11? Where was that decision
I
made?
gave direction to our team at ODNI to focus on the most extreme and critical national security threats
Your
that we
direction
face.
include no comments on climate change?
Senator, as I said, I focused on the most extreme and direct national
That's not a
security
response
threats
to my question.
that we face.
Did you instruct that there be no finding in terms of climate change in this report?
I don't recall giving that instruction.
Final questions in a few short seconds that I have left. You all concede, and it's in the report repeatedly, about the cyber danger from China.
Wow. So she's running the DNI. This is amazing. This is amazing, actual, incredible news. I'm elated here for the moment, at least. Right? There's so much blackpilling. Maybe I'll come to my senses in a few seconds. I won't even take a minute. But I'm temporarily elated. Holy shit. This is much bigger than not having a climate change policy in there. And you see what this guy said immediately about the national security threat issue. And of course, the very first thing that comes out of his mouth about the policy is migration. It has to do with population. It has to do with genocide, with population control and genocide, and the aardvark genocide, that they're using this guise of climate, which it's always been a
climate refugees, Thomas. That's what
right.
we have to give. We have to,
that way.
we have to give people asylum because of the weather.
Right, right. This is how they frame it, and that was decided by Julian Huxley, of course, when he founded the United Nations at the UNESCO meeting, where he said, "quote Now that we've failed, right, in our mission, which was effectively to prop up Adolf Hitler and then to do this, have him do their genocides and this kind of stuff, and relocate, right, all of the aardvarks into Israel, and so on." But then he, just like they propped up Zelensky, now you can imagine if Zelensky turned against them and started going after them, which is what Adolf did. He decided to turn against the globalists and attack them, arrest them. He arrested the Rothschilds, arrested them at the Rothschild Central Bank and whatnot, and started nationalizing all these institutions. The Aardvark genocide program, their experimental injections programs, all of this, he nationalized all of this and started getting rid of it. And then, so they went in, the Rockefellers and so on, funded, financed it, and went and took him out. And then also you had Japan, and that's the story of Japan, and people still aren't really realizing the true history that was hidden from us. That's why they went and got Japan. Japan was resisting it as well. The Bolshevik communism that was brought in and Mao propped up inside of CCP China, communist China, which was not communist before. The aardvarks brought their Bolshevik communism from Marx, Stalin, and Lenin, all aardvarks, that subverted from the inside, enemies domestic, subverted Russia from the inside, made their commissar communism in there, and then exported it to China, propped up and financed and armed Mao to then destroy the patriots in China and destroy the Kuomintang, and then push them all the way to Taiwan, and they're in Taiwan now. So they did that, and then Japan was fighting against that and fighting against the aardvarks in America. So they were fighting back against the real oligarchy, the aardvark oligarchy, the global Nazis, right, that were taking over and enslaving and genociding. So then they went and they took out Japan and Adolf, right? And people leave this out of the equation, Japan, and then they bombed them. With this very interesting happenings there, where you have Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Every day we're told if you nuke something, it'll be dead forever, and people are questioning: did they really use nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
They firebombed Tokyo and killed over 100,000.
Right, and they immediately started building in both Hiroshima and Nagasaki immediately, and they had it fully not fully rebuilt in 3 years, but it was completely repopulated in there. And today, I mean, you wouldn't ever know. You could go there, you wouldn't ever know that these places were bombed. There's millions of people in both locations. You wouldn't know that there's anything wrong at all. So, like, the idea that those are, radiated, either they're lying about that they bombed the place, number one, or they're lying that what this actually causes in nature and the ability of nature to recover from that. They're lying about one or the other. Take your pick, right? And check it out. But it is quite interesting.
Well, thankfully, they put those Japanese Americans in the camps under FDR. That helped for sure.
Yeah, and
continuing here, Thomas.
They're resisting.
What are we going to do about the judges? That's the thing. They say Congress is floating the idea here. Speaker Mike Johnson to suggest the possibility of eliminating federal district courts as part of a broader Republican strategy to address what they perceive as judicial overreach against Trump's administration. Or they could just actually pass laws instead of going off of these executive orders. They could do that and actually do their job. But now they're talking about, and of course, this is going to get the left wingers all up in arms, eliminating federal district courts. Eliminate the entire federal government. Maybe this is the 11D chess that we hear so much about that we just truly don't understand because we're not part of the conspiracy, that this is all for the good and they're just going to piece by piece eliminate the entire federal government this way. I guess you would have to take it apart piece by piece. And so we just have to trust the plan here, Thomas, that the dismantling of our separations of power here.
Yeah, that's a strange. That's I'm not so sure what to think about that one. So it's more blackpilling there, possibly, because you've seen countless times these weaponized courts at the state level, particularly California. These cases then go up to the district federal courts and get overturned, and the district federal courts upholding the human rights, the constitutional rights, First Amendment, and others.
Sometimes it goes the people's way. Sometimes it doesn't.
I think I don't know the exact records. I'm not in that field, but from what I've seen, it looks like they are the stopgap for this state's corruption, and it seems easier for them to subvert the state level courts.
A lot of times, the 9th district. I read 9th district just upheld the California high capacity ban on your how many bullets you could put in your magazine there for your rifle. So sometimes
Denver Attaway makes the good comment that Bibi Netanyahu is about to serve time before October 7th. Ironically, not ironically.
We have a report about that, about his wife doing corruption over there. Okay, continuing.
It was just another coincidence.
Yeah, but they're innocent. Obviously, it's Hamas oppressing them. HUD and DHS end taxpayer-funded housing for illegal aliens. HUD Secretary Scott Turner, I like these names I could pronounce easily, and it's not like a good American name. I think that guy's black, but that don't even matter. Scott Turner, right? Why can't everybody just be named Scott Turner so I can pronounce your damn name? Anyway, HUD Secretary Scott Turner and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, dog killer, side note, have jointly announced the termination of taxpayer funding housing for illegal aliens. This is outrageous, I'm sure. Come to this country illegally, you shouldn't even be here, and then we pay for your housing. So I'm sure that's going to that's part of this information overload. They got the quote fake opposition, which is real in some sense, but fake mostly. They got them. They don't know what to do to go after next. But let's hear from Scott Turner here about no more HUD funding for illegal aliens. Of course, violating illegal aliens' right to housing. I guess left-wingers say you have a right to be housed, even if you don't have to pay for it. I don't know, I guess.
And so today, Secretary Noem and I partnered to sign a MOU to ensure that American taxpayer dollars, in particular when it comes to HUD-funded housing, goes to the American people. The Biden administration had terrible immigration policies, border secure policies. And so because of that, they were prioritizing illegal aliens over the American people. And so today we put a stop to that to make sure that the American people are our first and only priority, and that illegal aliens will not be funded to live in HUD-funded.
So there you go. Scott Turner, a clear black white supremacist there, as you could see, as the left calls them. They called, remember when old, what the heck's the guy's name? Larry Elder ran for governor of California, a pretty popular black radio talk show host there in LA. And the Democrats called him the white face or the black face of white supremacy. And so another one here, old Scott Turner.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to kill Whitey for the Jays, so he's the black face of white supremacy. You see, if you drop some more bombs on Palestine and sign them from America. Definitely not from where it's from, but
like Mike Pence,
from America. Right?
Mike
Let's
Pence proudly, and Huckabee too, proudly signed those bombs. Okay, a little bit of economic news. Hyundai of South Korea, and we're still trying to figure out what is going on. The South Korean government is crazy right now. I guess they did pardon the vice president. The president is still up for impeachment, trying to sort that whole thing out. It's still going through court in South Korea. South Korea is crazy, man. But anyway, Hyundai out of South Korea has made a commitment to a $21 billion investment in America from 2025 this year to 2028, focusing on enhancing manufacturing supply chains and advancing technology and, Thomas, clean energy. This includes and it goes over a list of all the different ways they're going to invest here. This includes a $5.8 billion steel plant in Louisiana, which will create over 1,300 jobs and up to 5,400 jobs. So Hyundai of South Korea investing in America. Big news for me, but I'm sure most don't care. But for small businesses, this is big news because they played this stupid game back and forth. They put it on and off like 3 or 4 times. Anyway, the deadline, I think, was today, actually. They're requiring, as in the U.S. federal government, the head crime syndicate of the world, they were requiring small businesses to report under the FinCEN, under the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, to requiring small business owners to fill out a dossier, basically, and report it to them, or you're going to be fined up to $10,000 a day. I was stressing out about this because I deal with small businesses. I'm a small business myself, and so on and so on. And like I said, they said on again, off again, like 3 or 4 or 5 times following this whole saga on administrative burden placed on small businesses by the federal government. Anyway, today it's being announced that you don't have to report. Let me put that up on the screen for everybody.
What was the actual requirement there that you're concerned about?
They made it was just like another dossier, information, address,
beneficial ownership reporting, right?
Yeah, and so
some reporting.
And so it's official now that you are not required. Has issued an interim. The FinCEN has issued an interim final ruling that removes the obligation for U.S. companies and individuals to report beneficial ownership information under the Corporate Transparency Act. This change specifically exempts domestic entities from these requirements, while setting new deadlines for foreign companies. The whole thing was they tried to say, well, we need all this other information about U.S. small businesses to sort out money laundering from abroad. But it turns out they finally figured out that if you're operating here in the United States, you're probably not money laundering abroad, especially as a small business. But this is like, I'm a one-man business over here, and anybody from one man, I forget the exact requirements, but small business, it was just another administrative burden placed that they can already, the government already has all of this information. It was just one more layer of reporting, administrative burden, and hefty fines to back it up if you didn't comply. But thankfully, that is null and void as of now until they change it again. Maybe, I don't know. This thing was quite a saga
I'm
for
pretty
small
skeptical
business.
of it. I'm pretty skeptical of that. It's gone. They've canceled it. I'm skeptical of that. What we were seeing in the blockchain industry, as example, the crypto industry, we see all of these small businesses, small people, hiding right their beneficial ownership, hiding who's owning them, and all of these democrat shell companies, and all of these politicians with shell companies, and the Hunter Bidens with their shell companies, hundreds of them, then you have these other politicians like Raffensperger, who was implicated in the rigging in 2020 by the Trump administration, and all of his close confidants, which were then all arrested, charged by Stacey Abrams, who runs Crooked Media and is now the subject of this $2+ billion fraud that DOGE has found. And this FinCEN was trying to get these reporting requirements for more than just money laundering, but that was one part of it, which then they can, just like the USAID and all these NGOs, they're doing all of this money laundering through the NGOs. They were doing it through all of these different small businesses also. So they're trying to clean that up and make it so, because these people, they can run all these different businesses and hide all of this and commit wild financial crimes.
Yeah, but everybody else operating legitimately gets swept up in the dragnet, and it's just bullshit.
Right, but it's not a big deal, just a page of paper. Like really, like if it gives them some more. Now, I haven't looked into every single detail of it. Are they like, is it really some new onerous thing or something? We need to fight this more. An example that people need to realize that nobody ever talks about, and the J media never talks about this ever. The aardvark media, they leave this out, and it's no surprise to me. I've made the connections of the coincidences, all of these coincidences. They never talk about this. Now, why is that, right? Because is it possibly because they're so involved in that and have been involved in this as a staple of their community for hundreds of years? As an example of that case I was just reporting on in Southern California, where this rabbi running multiple syndicates, multiple crime syndicates at the same time out of his synagogue, committing massive criminal conspiracy to defraud, with huge teams of people working together to defraud the government, defraud big corporations, to defraud Fortune 500 companies, and then with the Soros funded district attorney, another aardvark, instead of getting 100+ years like a Roger Ver, the crypto campaigner, the Bitcoin Jesus of Bitcoin Cash, he gets 109 years in prison for supposedly for tax evasion or whatnot, after hiring a huge field of tax attorneys and accountants to do his taxes. He's not even an American anymore, hasn't lived in America for 10 years. And he gets 109 years on a huge list of charges. And this guy who's literally criminally defrauded the U.S. government, criminally defrauded Fortune 500 companies, this rabbi, he gets only one charge, and he gets only 14-month sentence from the aardvark district attorney appointed by Soros at the state, and it doesn't go up to the district court. Nothing above that to actually sort this out.
Well, as it should be. He's God's chosen person. So yeah.
Denver Attaway makes a good comment there about how Bibi was cleaning out the courts and removing, and we see that on the international stage, they're eliminating any kind of accountability for the atrocities being committed by the aardvarks. They're against the ICC. They're sanctioning the ICC members that have put the criminal charges and the warrants against Bibi Netanyahu. They're doing that, and now they're getting rid of the federal district court. So not everything is as it seems.
I don't think they're getting rid of the they're saying that. I don't think they're going to be able to. Congress, they're Republicans. Okay, let's continue on with the economic news. Allegedly reported here, Trump has secured $2.924 trillion worth of investments in the United States in his first 100 days. We'll see if all this pans out. Here's a graphic that Trump posted from Fox News. I don't know. Maybe.
So the SEC's got to come in and demand that he can't be a CEO, a chairman in his companies anymore, and give him fines, because that's a manipulation, right? To say that's manipulation of stock prices, apparently.
I think he's already divested.
To Musk?
I'm pretty sure he's already divested from all of his companies. But hey,
I guess the SEC, the weaponized SEC, maybe it's not so weaponized these days, but probably still is.
Let's get to this even more concerning, Thomas. Yeah, well, the president with a word can sway the markets. We know that. Trump-backed crypto bank joins stablecoin wars with new dollar peg token. World Liberty Financial, the decentralized financial venture backed by Trump and his family, by President Trump and his family, has launched a stablecoin. The stablecoin, dubbed USD1, will be pegged to the US dollar and be backed by short-term US treasuries, US dollar deposits, and other cash equivalents. What do we think of this?
Well, this is all coming out of, as Trump said, this is coming out of Sachs, right? His aardvark panel there that he's got all around him. Sachs and also Lutnick funding all of these actions. And of course, Lutnick himself has 800 shell companies at least. He's officially an executive on the board of 800 shell companies. Also, Lutnick was involved in, I got a tip from someone else, that Lutnick was heavily involved in and one of the key orchestrators of Moderna, when Moderna got all this money and got all these contracts and whatnot, and talking all of these people into supporting this regime and supporting the mandate and going after demanding the mandate across the country, even quoting, and I'm trying to get some actual sourcing on this, some documentation of this, but Lutnick apparently saying that to all these people, if you support this and we get the mandate in and we all pile into Moderna, we're going to get rich. We're all going to make tens of millions of dollars each, including with Walensky. And Lutnick was one of the chief orchestrators of that. Now I don't have that sourced. That's a tip. So I'm chasing that lead now to see where that goes, see if I can get some more information on that. But that's very interesting. And certainly,
he just cares about public health, Thomas. They say backed by gold in Fort Knox. No, backed by hope and dreams and your confidence in this fraud system. Backed by U.S. government treasuries, U.S. dollar deposits, and other cash equivalents. Not gold. No.
Yeah, not your. They're not going to back it with the Rothschild gold bars, your bankers bars.
No, just hope and dreams here. India's economy hit $4 trillion GDP, and so a major milestone, historical milestone crossed by India there. Now marking it as the world's 5th largest economy. California will be debating that because California always claims that it is the 5th largest economy. So maybe they knocked California down a rung there. We'll have to see how that sorts out as India has made a historical.
All of those, 350 pounders on food stamps. So it's certainly got to be doing more than 1.4 billion hardworking Indians, right?
Megyn Kelly launches MK Media. Is that for mind control? Oh no, it's for Megyn Kelly. And
MK Ultra mind control.
MK, I would have picked a different. But hey, if we're here to mind control you, they're just being more honest and transparent. Megyn Kelly's launched MK Media, a new podcast network focusing on news, politics, and pop culture to mind control you, as is in the name. So. Honesty in the naming, MK Media. I think it probably means Megyn Kelly, but who knows? She has come out and publicly said she's miracle job injured, so maybe she should be canceled for trying to do this podcast network, MK Media. Be aware of MK Ultra. I could not watch this without always in the back of my head thinking MK Ultra mind control, right? So I don't know about who's coming up with the branding for her on this deal, but not very good, honestly, in my opinion.
Hey, it's better than Stacey Abrams' crooked media telling it straight to your face how it is.
Oh man.
Telling
Okay.
you to your face what's going on. Right?
Public health news. We have to be careful how we talk about the public health news here.
Before we get into that, let's just cover this wonderful comment that just came in from IDY Wellness, and again, Denver Attaway. Thanks for that, guys. Trump just, though they just took out this FinCEN reporting, Trump just put in on the 14th of March new financial reporting rule requirements to capture cash transactions as low as $200. So they take out one and put it in another. We'll see if that's actually going through. So that's a fantastic comment, guys. Good job on that.
Continuing here. Yeah, Denver's a dogged researcher. Thank you, Denver, for tuning in and adding to the broadcast here at Weaponized News. Secretary Kennedy, what are we going to do? I reposted this and I said, Maha rugged, and somebody posted the bloodlines of the Illuminati and the number 6 name is Kennedy. I don't know. Just saying, these oligarch families seem to know what they're doing. They've been in charge for a very, very long time. But here's old Secretary Kennedy, Maha, Make America Healthy Again, where he says X posts that erroneously attribute Biden-era tweets supporting masks, lockdowns, and miracle mandates to my CDC director nominee, Susan, how do you say that? Monarez, have understandably provoked agita within Maha movement. I handpicked Susan for the job because she is a long-time champion of Maha values and a caring, compassionate, and brilliant microbiologist and a tech wizard who will reorientate CDC toward public health and gold standard science. I'm so grateful to President Trump for making this appointment. And so there she is with this, background, background from ARPA there. And so we can totally trust her. Right. And I will follow and I won't question her science because she's from ARPA, and Bobby Kennedy signed off on it. And so that's all I need to know.
Yeah. He wants to keep the injections regime going. He wants it, right? So he's all for climate. He's all for climate change. Obviously, he's all for climate change policy.
Here's what Dr. And this guy was. I forget how many cases, but he was like he actually treated people during the medical intervention period at his clinic. Dr. Brian Tyson here, and he said Maha is officially over. Talk about being effed over by the powers that may be. Lesson learned, never trust government for anything. Well, yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But who do we have confirmed today to NIH director right before we came on the air? Old Bhattacharya. It's hard to say that guy's name. Dr. J. Bhattacharya, famously censored for advocating focus protections on the most vulnerable during the medical intervention period, has been confirmed as NIH director. And so what's this guy going to do? I don't know. He doesn't push back nearly hard enough for me, but that's why we're banned, I guess. And we can't talk about such things.
I did the zip codes up for this. Where this new Trump rule is. This new Trump rule. Let's show that to the viewers here. The effective zip code.
Let me go back to. We had a comment from Carrie, and she said, "Just sent said, just sent the audit failure of my county health department that a whistleblower notified the California taking money for no services for severely disabled. Well, they would never do that. Even though it came out in an audit, they're the good people for doing that. Okay, what's you searched the Denver link? What do you got there?
Yeah, so we've got 30 zip codes. And the purpose of it, the Trump administration is going after the Mexican cartels, money laundering specifically of these unique 30 counties close to the border, San Diego County, Imperial County, California, Cameron County, and the border counties in Texas, El Paso, Hidalgo, Cameron County, Maverick County, Webb County, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 counties, a bunch of different zip codes comprising those. So they come across, the cartels come across, and then they're doing money laundering using the Western Union and different services that can be more anonymized, possibly, or just using some fake details and get transfer served. So they're targeting those with this new rule. It doesn't look like an all-encompassing national effect there. It's just for these specific counties. So we'll look more into it and then report back next time.
Okay, continuing on the public health news, again, we got to be careful what we say here. Florida invests $389 million in water quality. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida has announced a significant $389 million investment aimed at restoring natural water resources, emphasizing the state's commitment to improving water quality and quantity. And they've been on a big fluoride banning binge over there in Florida as of late as well. So, yeah, maybe you'll have good water. I still say filter your water no matter what. Okay, how do we report this without getting in trouble? D.C., Washington, D.C., on red alert as world's most dangerous infection is detected. And that's the one with the dots. I'm not even going to say the words. I'm not even going to say what it is. The dots. You guys know what I'm talking about. A case of an infection with dots on your skin has allegedly been reported there in Washington, D.C., and it's literally the end of the world, worse than if we were getting nuked by Russia and China and North Korea all at the same time. Is the hysteria being drummed up here now because someone had a red dot on their skin in Washington, D.C. Another report we can't even say on the YouTube. They say medical errors, not the dots, was the cause of the death of the victim over there in one of these cases in Texas, a 6-year-old, very tragically. So again, before all the censorship and everything, you could it was openly reported the third leading cause of death was medical error. Before the medical intervention and before the public health hysteria took hold, it was widely reported and well known, third leading cause. What do we know? I don't know. Just saying. Okay, you got something to say about, can you say about 23andMe without getting us in trouble here?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
We'll come back to that for the end. Let's play. Is dieting racist? Let's hear from this black woman. She seems to think so. That whitey, and she may have. There may be something to it. Different enzymes in and things of this nature. Like Indians with the feather, they can't metabolize alcohol, and so they have a real problem with alcohol. And I believe that's probably the way because we're different, but everybody's equal. So shut up.
The same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower, even when we're following the diet than our white women counterparts. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Sounds like a racist conspiracy against black women to keep them fat.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't have anything to do with all of those miracles. It definitely can't possibly have anything to do with that, right? And the different batches, the 95 different batches, and the boxes of them marked not for sale in America and Europe, only for sale to these particular communities in these particular regions and different parts of the country. Definitely has nothing to do with that.
Well, don't worry about that, because if that's a side effect from a miracle, we have another miracle, a Zimbic, for you. I'm just looking at this.
Yeah, exactly.
This post, just the headline says on the Daily Mail, on the side over here, it says, I lost 150 pounds on a Zimbic. I also lost my mind, memory, sight, speech, and hearing, and can barely walk or eat. But hey, have another miracle. It's all good. That on the back of
Better Backwards says the math is the same for all. One hole is much bigger than the other.
I thought it's already been established. Math is racist. I mean, that's
Yeah.
been well established. So you take your math talk and you just get it out of here.
Take your Gila Venom. We'll sell you some Gila Venom overpriced. Definitely overpriced.
All roads lead to racism, of course. If you okay, TikTok star is this is heartbreaking. 16-year-old died suddenly here, and of course it wasn't the miracles. We don't know, but it does say cause of death in this article. They don't know, so cause of death remains unclear. So we don't know. But 16, Joshua Blackledge has died suddenly. TikTok star, very sad and tragic. Rest in peace there. As we see these stories keep piling up of unknown circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay, here onto the geopolitical section. Check out this crazy video, which is emblematic of the South Korean government right now. A massive sinkhole appears on the road in Seoul, South Korea. The motorcyclist did not survive. This is scary stuff right here, like out of some kind of disaster sci-fi film. And again, emblematic of the South Korean government right now. Let's watch this short clip.
A racist road. So they're building a subway there, and then a sinkhole opens up.
That's freaking crazy. What if you're driving along and just a sinkhole open? What do you do? I mean, you can't do anything. That motorcyclist died. What could you do?
Yeah, not much you can do about that one. These kind of things happen all over the world. Of course, that footage will be used to claim that was from climate change. Greta Thunberg will be back tomorrow reporting on that, right, and how we need to fight against climate change.
Listen to this hate on the Better says that his keyboard is white. What the hell, Better? Mine's black. All right. I want you guys to know. Black. Okay. I don't know what Better's doing over there with a white keyboard, but I don't know what we're going to do with these extremists in the chat, Thomas.
Yeah. But definitely, the climate policy of the aardvarks is definitely not racism. We all need to do that. We all need to adhere to that. You definitely got to take your injections, or you are anybody who speaks out against the actual racism is the racist, you see. Anyone who would dare speak out against the Aardvark Memorandum 200 program is the racist. You see how this works, folks? So they subvert the left. They subvert the right. It's both the same group who's doing it on both sides. It's George Soros that's funding the left, that's funding all of these activist judges that are all the same people, right? They're all supporting the genocide in Palestine, all of these people. And we can see what they're doing. So people need to It is true. The left-right agenda, it is easy to get caught up in it, but we need to see what's really going on. Who's running both of those sides? And you can see it's one group.
See, there's a difference at the grassroots level between your pink-haired communist and your Bible-thumping, America First Republican. There's a big difference.
It's not their funders. The difference
no,
is
but
not
on the
funders.
top, the puppet masters are all the same in the oligarchy, laughing while we're fighting amongst each other at the grassroots about a bunch of nonsense that they made up, and they're just sitting there literally laughing, spitting in our face, and making more money off and profiteering off of the whole charade.
And in Berkeley, Berkeley, California's Berkeley, right? The leftist center of the world. That guy is famously a slave owner and a eugenicist, a genocidalist, and named a bunch of the different sub schools inside of it after fellow slave owners and racists. And there's even been some movement among the leftists to try to rename it, even try to rename the city of Berkeley to something else due to this. But right, don't you dare criticize Berkeley. So what a strange place to be a leftist. You're in Berkeley, and you're defending Berkeley, but then you're campaigning for it to be renamed. But then don't you dare say anything bad about Berkeley. Like what a strange. They're just all twisted around.
The double think gives me a headache, man. It's giving me a headache. Okay, the big news of the day, potentially, until they do another attack, Zelensky out of Ukraine has agreed to a partial ceasefire. Zelensky announced that the ceasefire for the Black Sea and energy infrastructure is now in effect starting today. Let's watch this clip. So on our way to potential peace, dare I say, in Russia-Ukraine. Let's watch this short, well, maybe until somebody else attacks.
Годину з'являться вже стейки Сполучених Штатів Америки, і ми дійсно довго очікували. Я знаю, що русські знов не дотримуються, але це розмова американської сторони і руської. Тобто всі вважали, що передусім американці повинні вийти зі стейтментом, а потім вже меседжі з будь-якої сторін. Але тим не менш зараз ми проговорювали з Рустемом Умєровим. Останні домовленості буде два стейтмента по результатам домовленості між українською і американською стороною. А є окремий стейтмент американсько-русський. Чому? Тому що вони трішки різняться. Ви зараз розумієте чому і зрозумієте позицію сторін. Передусім, про що ми домовилися, що може бути тиша на морі і вільне судноплавство, ви в принципі це знаєте. І окрім того, що коротко сформульовано в стейтменті, ви це прочитаєте, ми вдячні американській стороні за цей результат. І важливо, що ми проговорили окремо з американською стороною також що і щодо інфраструктури. Ми цьому виділили багато часу, що мається на увазі, якщо це тиша на морі і вільне судноплавство, ми говоримо і про інфраструктуру. Ну, подивимося, як це буде виконуватися, про це окремо з вами поговоримо про деталі. Портова інфраструктура тощо. Другий пункт – це не бити ударами по енергетичній системі, по всій енергетиці, скажімо так, по мережі, по всій енергетиці країн, так, України та Росії.
It's a start. It's a start.
Protect the energy infrastructure. We won't we won't blow up the Nord Stream pipelines anymore. They've already blown them up.
Well, remember they were attacking freaking nuclear plants, and it was back and forth. Russia did it, Ukraine did it. It was back and forth like that, and that went on a couple times throughout this whole war.
Yeah, he'll get what he wants. He'll get more money, etc., and then he'll be right back on to doing it again and doing it more, and with some better bargaining position. He'll take a bunch more, another 360 billion, and then just continue the fraud. And that's all it is from these people. It's always like that. It's just another fraud, endlessly. And the Russians met for over 12 hours. Ukraine only 2 hours. Yeah, so okay, we get promised a port. Wow, more money for me. I get another casino in Africa. I get some more mansions in Florida. I get some more mansions in California. Certainly no reporting requirements from the Trump administration on Zelensky's businesses and
Well,
holdings.
let's go over. The White House has published its outcomes of negotiations with the Ukrainians and Russians in Saudi Arabia. For Ukraine, the United States and Ukraine agree that the United States remains committed to helping achieve the exchange of prisoners of war, the release of civilian detainees, and the return of forcibly transferred Ukrainian children. For Russia, the United States will help restore Russia's access to the world market for agriculture and fertilizer exports, lower maritime insurance costs, and enhance access to ports and payment systems for such transactions. The other points include agreeing to ensure safe navigation, which Zelensky talked about, eliminate the use of force, and prevent the use of commercial vessels for military purposes in the Black Sea, agreeing to develop measures for implementing the agreement to ban strikes against energy facilities of Russia and Ukraine, welcoming the good offices of third countries with a view towards supporting the implementation of energy and maritime agreements, continually working toward achieving a durable and lasting peace. So there you have it. Progress. Potentially. Maybe they'll stop killing each other there. Kind of big news. I don't know. It seems I don't know. One step, I guess. Okay, on to Code Pink. Code Pink was there. Anti-war protesters. Of course, they will be labeled by the right-wingers as pro-Hamas. I think they're really actually anti-war, and I don't think they're pro-anybody killing anybody. They disrupted Senate Intelligence Committee hearing today. Let's watch that clip with old Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton's dirty, man. Tom Cotton is friggin' dirty.
Could you provide some color about the nature of the threat these illegal immigrants have posed, not just to Arkansas, but our nation, perhaps including some of the details of the horrific offenses they've committed against the American people?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Witness will suspend.
The greatest threat to global security is Israel, and the whole world knows it. Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel!
So that protester was a Code Pink lunatic, saying the greatest threat to world peace is funding Israel. I will observe, for the benefit of the audience here on television, that Code Pink is funded by Communist China as well, which simply illustrates, speak up now if you want to be removed as well, whoever's saying that. If anyone else would like to join them, speak now, please, so we don't have any more disruptions. As I was saying, the fact that Communist China funds Code Pink, which interrupts a hearing like this about Israel, simply illustrate Director Gabbard's point that China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and other American adversaries are working in concert to a greater degree than they ever have before.
Yeah, it's no surprise. So, and this is how they also point. So they subvert the left to try to, so here the message is correct, right? Funding this genocide regime, which has been doing these wars for 25 years, unabated, and much longer than that. It's like 100 years, this right deep state regime. Since in 1913, they've been doing this 110, 112 years. nonstop, endless wars. And Trump is talking about stopping them. How does he stop it? By immediately bombing Yemen, right? As he's talking about peace, let's not talk about Yemen. Boom, no congressional approval. And the Trump cult just supports it. I made some.
Is Code Pink really funded by China, though? I don't know.
Yeah, it's right. They're not going to fund that. That's ridiculous. Right, you got 70,000 NGOs, which right, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all these other aardvark organizations funnel all of the money through. It can look like it's coming from anywhere, so they just blame it on China. It's always the move of the rhinos. The same guy, Cotton, he blamed the China virus, right? Blame it all on China, right? Had nothing to do with the DOD.
Yeah, we're not even going there. Don't even go there. Okay, moving on to Signalgate. What do we make of this? Data hearing today, U.S. Intelligence Committee hearing led by Democrat Mark Warner. They held a hearing about discussing. Well, let's hear right from the guy that got the leak here, Jeffrey Goldberg. Notice the Berg there. Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg reacts to the story he broke of being mistakenly added to a military ops signal group chat, allegedly. And then it's also I've seen the idea out there that it was hacked somehow to make Trump look bad. But let's hear right now from the reporter here, Goldberg, interestingly enough. Doesn't it all feel like a controlled op? Here we go.
When the attack seems to be going well, they start sharing congratulatory texts, including emojis, fist emojis, fire emojis, American flag emojis with each other. So that was the day that I realized, oh, this is possibly, unbelievably, the leaders of the United States discussing this on my messaging app.
And just, can you give us a sense of your reaction in that moment that you realize you are that fly on the wall in this very critical conversation?
Honestly, my reaction was, I think I've discovered a massive security breach in the United States national security system, which is to say, it's almost automatically true that if the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic is being given access to this kind of information, weapons systems and packages and timing and weather in Yemen and all kinds of information about sequencing of particular events, then obviously there's a security breach. What is in the public interest is to know that the secretaries of defense and state and treasury and the CIA director and the director of national intelligence and the national security advisor and the vice president are all talking on an app that you can just download on your phone. And they're not just talking about, hey, what time is it? What time should we get dinner tonight? Or when is that meeting tomorrow? They're actually talking about substantive issues relating to kinetic action directed against America's enemies. And so reporting that to me was in the public interest, and obviously reporting the debate over whether to attack the Houthis at all, I think was very much in the public interest. So, obviously to the extent that there's hope for anything here, it's that, well, I guess just as an American citizen, I hope that they take.
Yeah, so no surprise. One of the key intelligence gathering officials there, who probably, he might even have security clearances in America still. They've been talking about that issue all week and removing security clearances to all of these people. And many in the media have them. And they're in these roles. They have security clearance with a contractor or otherwise, and then they're outside in the private sector, but they still retain those security clearances. They're not removed. And if they're doing any kind of consulting work or anything else, for the government in any of the different departments, they continue to keep those security clearances. And this is one of the ways that they subvert the security of America.
But national security, we have to shut everything down for national security. That's always the excuse they give. I don't know who the third parties over there. Somebody in the chat said, who are the third parties? I don't know. Maybe Saudi Arabia. I don't know. Some impartial third party is going to make sure that they're following all of these ceasefire agreements, Russia, Ukraine.
Well,
But
definitely won't be the International Criminal Court, which
they're getting sanctioned right now. So
right,
no,
right.
won't be there. And I think they actually put out an arrest warrant for Putin too. So Putin's not doing too good at that court either, along with Netanyahu. Trump on the Signalgate drama. Okay, so now it's coming down to saying, well, if it wasn't classified, then it's no big deal. If it was classified, then somebody's got to get fired. Something's got to happen. And so they're denying, and there's a back and forth. Was this classified information being discussed on the Signal app, or was it not classified? And so I guess we're going to have to see. Here's Pete Hegseth, part of this whole Signalgate scandal, to remind people, throwing an axe when he was on Fox News at a target and missing and hitting a guy in the band. Luckily, this was not a serious injury, but not a very good axe thrower here, and emblematic of the whole Signalgate debacle.
The axe. Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton. With the axe. Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton.
Yeah. Special operations, right? This guy doesn't know to clear the back if you're going to take a shot and you have a whole bunch of people there. He doesn't know at all to make sure that to make sure that there's no friendly fire going on. This guy doesn't know anything about that. He's never going to check, not going to look behind when he's about to throw an axe. He's not an axe thrower. That's not an M16 he's shooting there.
Imagine playing the drums and then a friggin' axe hits you. Like, what the?
I mean, you got to have it. It's got to be orchestrated. You got to have it because, hey, Dick Cheney shot the guy with a shotgun in the face, right? You got to have this. It's got to go this secret society method. You got to have one of these where you have somebody very high in the defense establishment, literally running the military establishment, that shoots somebody in the face. You got to have the accident to make America
some type of initiation ritual is going on here with it.
Yeah, it was supposed to hit him. It was supposed to hit him right in the face, just like Dick Cheney blowing the guy's face off with a shotgun out there duck hunting, right?
Maybe. Okay, continuing here. What a debacle it all is. So from what I'm getting from all the reporting I was seeing about it is if it's deemed classified, then somebody's going to get in trouble. If it's deemed unclassified as the Signalgate, then no one's going to get in trouble. But probably still no one will get in trouble, even if it is classified. So we're following that to see how all this idiocy works out.
Greenland. Who set up the room? Who suggested to set up the chat room?
Yeah, I don't know all the details
using, right? Yeah, but people aren't going to ask. Are they going to miss these details? Who orchestrated it? Who set it up?
Just
so that
outrage from the
left,
and
then it'd be shared off to these people who then report on it. I mean, look how many ways they tried to entrap Trump, and they tried to entrap the opposition. They got 1,000, right? As Chucky Schumer said, right? The ultimate aardvark in Congress. If you think if you're going to cross the intelligence agency, they have a million ways to get back at you, and that's what this is too, right?
He's converted to Islam. He's now a Palestinian, according to Trump. Okay, Greenland protests U.S. delegation visit amid annexation fears. And so as reported yesterday, Second Lady Ursa Vance and a convoy of other U.S. representatives are showing up over there. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville, and who else? A couple other from the U.S. Delegation, and J.D. Vance, Vice President, is going to show up there on Friday, and they're getting some pushback from the people of Greenland here now. Danish Prime Minister, the United States is exerting unacceptable pressure on Greenland, he said, because they're a protectorate under Denmark right now. But Trump wants to go ahead and do a takeover of Greenland, essentially. U.S.
It's strange, but if he's you got
well, he claims he needs to control the oceans around there for Russia and China. Maybe
yeah, he's saying he loves Prince Charles, and wow, interesting. Why does he love him? Did he see him at his resorts hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? Maybe
loves the Great Reset. That's why. U.S. sanctions Iranian intelligence officials in Levinson case. The United States has imposed sanctions on 3 Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security officials, accusing them of being involved in the abduction, detention, and probable death of Robert A. Levinson, a retired FBI agent. These sanctions reflect ongoing efforts to address the wrongful detention of American citizens abroad and to seek accountability for Levinson's disappearance in Iran in 2007. Trump is doing that, I've seen, for, I don't know if it's just for PR or maybe he is legitimately trying. We've been reporting here on prisoner exchanges, getting Americans abroad, mostly for drugs, where you need to be very careful with your drugs in America and especially abroad. But we have been reporting on these cases where following up on lost Americans, you could say POWs out there in the world. And this is another such case. U.S. intelligence contradicts Trump's claims on Canadian fentanyl during a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing. Tulsi Gabbard testified that the primary threat of fentanyl entering the U.S. comes from Mexico, not Canada, contradicting Trump's previous claims. So I don't know who thought it was more coming from Canada than Mexico, but apparently Trump did at some point in his ramblings. Okay, on to your favorite subject here, Thomas, the aardvarks. We're going to be careful about our reporting here. But as of, 24 hours ago, here's the death toll over there. I'm sure all Hamas, and so fine, 62 Palestinians killed, 296 injured in the past 24 hours. And of course, they were all Hamas, so that's perfectly fine. And then here's what we reported on yesterday, passing the benchmark of 50,000 confirmed killed. And you can see a breakdown on this graph of the demographics of who has been killed there. Less than 1 year old, 876, 1 to 5, 4,110, 6 to 12 years old, 5,745, and then 13 to 18 years old, 4,882. All Hamas, because as we've been told, they're born Hamas, and so there's no nothing you can do but genocide them because they're all Hamas there.
Yeah, and hey, the 12-year-old plus, those are barbarians. The age 6 to 12, those are your savages, and the age 1 to 6, those are your inhumans, and your 1 year old and below, that's just a fetus.
Nothing you can do. Here's Mike Huckabee. What a despicable character. Mike Huckabee at his confirmation hearing for U.S. Ambassador to Aardvark land. He says, "We believe the Bible." But he's following this this hoaxed up Schofield Bible that we continually report on, brought to you by British intelligence. But I don't know if he's a true believer, an idiot, or just a sycophant. I don't know. Either way, we're in trouble with this sick man, proud Christian Zionist, Mike Huckabee. Let's hear it from his, I guess he thinks he's doing God's work and genociding people, apparently. I don't believe he believes any of it, but he's playing a role here now. Let's hear from Mike Huckabee at his confirmation hearing.
Israel, in many ways, is a reflection of our own heritage and history. It is the Judeo-Christian law that there is a right and that there is a wrong, upon which all of Western civilization is built, but certainly our system of government. There is no country across the globe that more mirrors our own struggle and our own level of democracy than does the state of Israel. And it's one of the reasons that it is a natural ally. The spiritual connections between your church, mine, many churches in America, Jewish congregations to the state of Israel is because we ultimately are people of the book. We believe the Bible. And therefore, that connection is not geopolitical. It is also spiritual. And to ignore that, to deny that, would be to make it very difficult for us to ever understand how to go forward in a relationship with them.
So if he really believes that, he's a brainwashed fool. I tend to think the latter, that he's a propagandist for genocide. And I don't know. Who knows what's in a man's heart, but he's been duped on the face of it by the Schofield Bible. And so let's pray for Mike Huckabee that he would have a revelation of his deception here and be able to see through it, even though I'm not holding my breath for that. Here's some more from Huckabee. I wonder if he'll be confirmed to be Aardvark envoy, their ambassador. Aardvark land is the appetizer and we are the entree, claiming Iran seeks global domination during his confirmation hearing. Let's watch these two characters. Scott, senator out of Florida, another Christian Zionist piece of garbage. Maybe if we talk bad about, I don't know, Trump's bad, YouTube. You think that'll help? Trump's bad, YouTube. You hear me?
Yeah, look at that spray tan. He put on extra spray tan just to trigger us.
Governor Huckabee, why is the defense of Israel, the support of Israel, important to America?
Senator, a great question. The truth is, it's been very clear, as expressed by the Iranian government, that Israel is the appetizer and we're the entree. They don't want to stop at Israel. They certainly want to annihilate them. They've said it over and over. And there's an old saying that when people are saying again and again they're going to kill you, you might want to take them seriously. But they've also gone beyond saying they want to annihilate Israel and wipe it off the face of the earth. They've said that their ultimate goal is to first take care of the little Satan, they identify as Israel, and then come after the great Satan. Senator, that's us. And whatever is happening to Israel, it is the canary in the coal mine. These governments, Iran being the most notable, who want to develop a nuclear weapon and who have the audacity to wish to use it to destroy a sovereign Jewish state so that they ultimately could destroy Western civilization. That's why it matters, Senator, and I appreciate your question because I hope people will understand this is not just about Israel. It is about us. And if we don't stand with them, they stand alone. And if they fall alone, we fall next.
Isn't that why it was created in the first place? To bring about the Third World War and fulfill their fake prophecy? I think so. And they've been saying that Iran's going to have a nuke in 2 weeks ever since 9/11, probably before that. And so someday, some way, Iran's going to develop this giant nuclear program, even with the UN and all these other agencies up their rear end watching them somehow, some way. And they're going to nuke us over here, and so our fate is tied to Aardvark land. They want us to believe here now. It's just
in Iran. It's again this notion, right? Supposedly Putin is going to go and attack and destroy all of Europe. And then what did Putin do? He has a tank column all the way to Kiev, signs the agreement with Zelensky, leaves, takes every single troop, every single tank, every single piece of equipment out, back right into the Donbass states.
No, he's heading for London. He's heading for London, Thomas.
Right, to secede, and so he goes back, but they continue this lie. So we see it again. So Huckabee pushing this fraudulent story, this supremacist agenda, and who's funding Huckabee? Who's funding all of these mega churches?
God is. He's doing God's work. I don't know if it's the same God that we recognize.
Miracle clinics inside of their churches, right? Who's doing that? So,
and he's even dishonest in what he's saying there, because Iran never says Aardvark land. They say the Zionist entity. If you listen to what they say and who they're fighting. So he's dishonest even in that. Okay, let's move on to who are these leaders over there in Aardvark land that are causing this genocide and trying to bring about Armageddon and World War III and the end of the world and the Antichrist and the second coming and fulfilling their fake prophecy. Let's look at who these guys are. They're not even from Aardvark land. Here's a short matchup of all these characters. They're actually European, it turns out. We did not see this coming. Talk about freaking subversion. Imagine if you were born in Aardvark land and you're an Aardvark firster, probably as you should be if you're born there, and these characters are your leaders and none of them are even from there.
Well, I think it's a little bit overrated. So people, sometimes they think, and you see these people from a lot of these accounts coming up with some fantastic new piece of information, but then it's actually maybe some subversion. To get people to look away.
I think the Cradle's has been pretty reliable.
Well, let's actually make the full point here. So just as we know, the Aardvark diaspora is all over the world, and they've been co-opting these different countries all over the place. I mean, you got the Mexican president magically after 23 political candidates are assassinated, and all of a sudden you have this unknown Aardvark president of Mexico out of nowhere.
She's Hispanic.
And you got the same thing happening all throughout Latin America at a record rate, and particularly the countries that are using these elections machines, right? It's the same thing everywhere those machines are. And those machines are owned, right? Dominion is owned by an Iranian Iranian Jewish family. So you got this diaspora. So it's completely common. If you don't want to say normal, completely common for these people to be have nationalities, have citizenships all over the place. That doesn't mean they're not Aardvarks. It doesn't mean that they're not from the same family history.
Better said, we can't get in this. It's a genetic thing, and we can't get in the club no matter what.
Well, some of the rabbis are saying that just to convert to Judaism is what they say. So some of them are saying.
But I thought we were supposed to convert them to Christianity, so then all of their wrongdoings are okayed.
Well, Mike Huckabee is not looking to convert them, is he?
You can't even preach Jesus in Aardvark land, or you'll be arrested. They're our greatest ally, I promise. It's just so freaking absurd.
Yeah,
okay,
can we have Mike Huckabee show up and do some proselytizing in
He'll be arrested.
Right, he'll be deported immediately, never welcome back again. But support Aardvark land, support Aardvark land. What a joke, right? And they talk, and here Huckabee talks about Iran supposedly coming to America to kill them. Look who's killing Americans now. Who's killing the Americans right now? Who ran the massive fraud bid scam on everybody? Who forced the injections? Who was running the CDC? Right? Who was orchestrating the Moderna build-up, funding this company out of nowhere? Who's never made a product before? Borla and all of this. Who gave all these contracts? Who is that? Who is killing the millions of Americans now? It's not Iran. It's not Iranians, right? So Iran wants to, weed out this entity from these other countries because they know until they do that, it's going to be continual. These genocidalists will seek to genocide them and endlessly harm them. So they want to root that out of these different countries because they're all over the place. And then you could see that all of the heads of these different people, as was just shown in the video, coming out of the places, and then probably it's controlled opposition saying, "Oh, they're not actually aardvarks at all. They're from these other places. They're not really aardvarks." I mean, that's kind of looks like steering the wrong direction to me.
All right. Chloe wants to know how to contact you. Says how.
I think she found me here.
Says, do you need my email?
Found me. Chloe found me on one of my Rumble videos there. Yeah, you can reach on X, if you're on X, at AOE Breakthrough, or Telegram at AOE Black Swan. You can find me on there. You could just send me a DM. Immediately, my DMs are open on there. I get plenty of spam on your god, Elon Musk's, #1 in fake intelligence, but he can't possibly.
EGOD.
Yeah, EGOD, your EGOD, new EGOD can't possibly filter with his fake intelligence app.
We played a song praising him. We should get a boost on X for that.
Any of these porn accounts, you certainly can't do that.
Okay, let's move on. Bibi's wife, our shadow president here, claimed by me, is under investigation in an aardvark court in occupied Jerusalem today for allegedly threatening a key witness and ongoing corruption case against her husband. Let's watch this short clip. They would never do this type of corruption. This is
תחקיר עובדה של ספי עובדיה, שלחת אנשים להטריד את הדס קליין?
תודה, אין שאלות בעולם.
מיקמן, אתה עדיין חייב תשובות על זה שאתה משקר כל הזמן.
כן? גם ספי עובדיה שיקר שהוא ראה הודעות שלך? שלחת אנשים להטריד את הדס קליין, את ליאת בן ארי?
אז ליאת, תודה.
מיקמן, אתה משקר כל הזמן.
אולי מה עשית במיימי? אולי מי מימן את שהותך במיימי, גברת נתניהו?
Oh, sorry, no subtitles. But that's going on, as Denver said. He needed that war as a distraction domestically from his own corruption charges against them. Here is U.S. State Department. Tammy Bruce, one-time supposed journalist turned propagandist for the U.S. government, blames. Well, let's watch it. They reported yesterday 2 Palestinian journalists were killed over there, and the mostly peaceful aardvark settlers over there that are constantly stealing people's land and property and murdering people. They got the Oscar-winning Palestinian film director. He was released after he was attacked and detained by these people. We played that clip when they won the Academy Award for their documentary film. They're with aardvarks. But let's hear now first from Tammy Bruce at the State Department. A very long fall for her, actually. Now, a propaganda shill for the U.S. government.
The Israelis have killed 2 more journalists, Hossam Shabbat of Al Jazeera Mubasher, Mohammed Mansour of Palestine. Today, that brings the number to 208. Each one was individually targeted. The IDF says they used extensive intelligence gathering and precise munitions. Shabat killed in his car, Mansour in his house. The Committee to Protect Journalists has once again noted that the deliberate targeted killing of journalists is a war crime. Do you have any comment?
I would say that every single thing that's happening is a result of Hamas and its choices to drag that region down into a level of suffering that has been excruciating and has caused innumerable deaths. And of course, their reaction on October 7th, when there was a ceasefire and people were living in some relative peace, they decided to break that with an atrocity that was just certainly the most Jews killed in a single framework than during the Holocaust. And we also, I can tell you, we stand by Israel and its needs as it defends itself through this period of time, as we also work with them so that they don't need to defend themselves from the barbarity of an entity that has destroyed lives for generations and continues to. So for everyone who has, so many people who do so many jobs and who've lived different lives, and the children and the babies who didn't have a chance to seek their fortunes or their life dreams because of the barbarity of certain people who think that murder is the only way to move through life.
Is it a war crime?
And I will tell. I'm certainly. I'm not going to stand here and declare what's a war crime and what isn't. But what we do know is a crime is the mass slaughter of any individuals. Certainly, the targeting of people simply because of who they are. That Jew hatred is a signal regarding the barbarity and the nature of who it is you're dealing with. The world knows that if you don't stop it and don't confront it as it bears its ugly face, it will not stop. And that is part of what this world now has decided, that when we say never again, we mean never again.
Never again until the next false flag.
Right, and never again what? Never again what? All right.
Never again stand down, plan, arm, fund, train your opposition, the best enemy
And
money
shorting
combined.
all of these stocks in advance because you know it's going to happen, right? And that never reported in the media who actually did that. But we say, oh, there was an investigation. None of it's going to be public. None of it will be publicized. Right? Despite we found nothing wrong, so we could publicize it, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to actually let anybody know who actually shorted. Every single time we're going to do that, whether it's 9/11, whether it's October 7th, whether it's the assassinations against Trump. For the first time, we got to see who that was, and of course, it was Soros and the Soros organizations running all of these color revolutions in these different countries through all of these NGO funding and whatnot, and Alex Soros and so on, getting all of this money laundering contracts. And then they always try to talk about money laundering somewhere else. Hey, money laundering at the American small businesses. It's not us. It's not us. Right. So they get people looking somewhere else, blaming somewhere else. And hey, isn't that the aardvark agenda to do that? Straight out of Goebbels, straight out of this propaganda machine that they had built over there to do this. Lie that your enemy is who you are. Lie that your enemy is doing what you're doing. They just invert everything, and they want to get out front of doing the accusation to put the others on the defensive. And we see them doing that as well to Cambodia and the Hun Sen government. Sam Cheney sent me this article to look at before.
You want to go to that? We'll wrap up the show with that. But first, let's report that allegedly, their Palestinians are protesting Hamas. Aardvark Post says hundreds of Gazans march in rare anti-Hamas protests. And here's some video of said marches here against Hamas, aka Western intelligence.
We got no sound there. We got no sound on that though.
So you get the gist of it. Allegedly, Palestinians are protesting Hamas. So maybe they figured it out that their Western intelligence run. Maybe that group did. Moody's warns Aardvark land's economy has been weakened by very high political risks. Aardvark Times reports to us here. So yeah, they're killing the hell out of them again. What do you even say at this point? It's genocide, ethnic cleansing, real estate redevelopment program. We've covered it extensively here. It's wrong and needs to stop. Maybe the Palestinians can stop Hamas and have a true ceasefire, but it doesn't seem like no matter what they do, they want them off that land is the bottom line, because they're going to redevelop it and mine it for the oil and other natural resources. And they want the Riviera of the, right there, Trump's Riviera of West Asia. And so I don't think there's much of anything they can do at this point, except for leave or die, is essentially been the ultimatum thrown down by the United States and Aardvark land to them. So, and of course, the UN Security Council continues to condemn it. What good are they? What you at this? We have to ask ourselves. Well, we have the United Nations, and they'll sort out all these international conflicts and do the right thing. Well, they put out report after report after report, condemning it all, documenting it all, yet still nothing. It gets every time the vote gets vetoed by the United States, calling for a ceasefire, sending UN peacekeepers, whatever the case may be. So what good is the UN actually, except for to implement on the other side of their peacekeeping duties, UN Agenda 2030, 15-minute cities, and total enslavement? I don't know.
And here they blame Iran. They lie that Iran's going to keep coming, and they're going to keep coming, and they're going to keep coming, and right. But actually, who's doing that? It's obviously the Aardvarks doing that, bombing. They went and bombed Iraq, bombing Afghanistan, bombing Somalia, bombing Syria, right? Now bombing and sending missiles into Russia, and bombing Yemen, right? Destroying, as they said, the New American Century Project, written by Aardvarks and their partner rhinos, written by the Kissinger DOD regime. To go and do these endless genocides, endless wars. Who's been doing endless war for the last 100+ years? There's only really been any kind of issue since the Aardvarks went into Iran to get their oil and control all of this in the 70s, and then completely betrayed them in the 1970, 1974 period, and did all these embargoes, everything ever since. Right? It's who's really doing the endless incursions? Is it Iran or is it the Aardvarks? I mean, so they always lie that those people are going to come and do what they're doing themselves right now and been doing for the last 25 years and then 100 years and so on, right? So that's their cover, is to endlessly just keep this up and push this and one false flag after another endlessly. And then you see the words again in the Blinken-Clinton deep state, right? The CIA, the State Department, saying that, again, barbarians, 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 this demonization, this dehumanization of these other people, right? They just keep on parading this same propaganda.
Let's wrap up with the report. I wanted to get your take because they're the New York Slimes here are going after where you're at there, Cambodia. The Scammer's Manual, How to Launder Money and Get Away with It, according to the New York Slimes. What do you think of this report here, Thomas?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. When I saw this, of course, I was very interested to see this. And this company called Pay, this is effectively like your Coinbase app here in Asia. It's another like a Binance, just a a Chinese version instead of the Singaporean version, which is Binance. So you have a Chinese version, and China has your OKX, and they have these other apps. And Huiwenpay has become a big app over in Southeast Asia to cash in your crypto and do all of these exchanges. I've used it before, in fact, to cash in some crypto that was sent to me from some little contributors that keep us alive over here in Southeast Asia doing what we're doing. Because, of course, the establishment has seized over 4,000 energy innovators and over 6,427 American innovators with technology, never to put out their technology. Alex Jones was fraudulently lying endlessly that supposedly they're going to release all the energy tech. Trump is going to release the energy tech, and it's going to be the debt utopia and all of this. Of course,
med beds. Remember that? Remember that conspiracy? We're getting med beds.
Right. So none of that.
They're going to cure all of your ills, and obviously it's fake.
And they run all of those fake stories when they're trying to cover something else up. They will come out with this complete bullshit, and then hijack the attention from the small breakthrough energy innovators. Never report on them. Never report on us. Never report on these people. So, fortunately, thank God, we had at different times, you know, a little Christian support us with a couple $100 here or there. And recently, I cashed in some money on this Huiwenpay app at one of these Chinese centers, a smaller one than this one.
You better not let the Christians hear the way you talk about aardvarks. They're gonna not be happy with that.
Yeah, some of them, fortunately, are wiser to what's going on than the others, like in Huckabee's cult centers. Thank God for that. So here comes the New York Times with this article talking about the Scammer's Manual: How to Launder Money and Get Away with It. I reached out to the author of the article at the New York Slimes and invited her to come on to Weaponized News, either today or next Friday, whatnot. And it was interesting. The response showed that this was just a project that was handed to her effectively, like an article. Okay, we want you to write this on this, cover this particular topic, and now she's off to the next project. Like there's not a passion to tell the story and get more into it. I even offered the New York Slimes to go into these offices of Huiwenpay, where I've used their services before, and I'm happy to use it again. I will be using their services again here shortly to do another cash in of some little tiny bit of crypto that was sent to us. And thank goodness they're here that I can even do that. So we'll go through this article here. Can you bring the article up on my, oh, that's your, can you bring it up on my side so I can scroll through and highlight some particular things? I've got the window up here. And let's see if we can get that. So I reached out to this gal and I said, I will even go in and do some interviews, even on camera, with the staff there. If you would like me to go in and do some like OMG James O'Keefe type media and show this where people can actually see, let's zoom that up a little bit, what happens inside of here. And of course, I'm a huge anti-corruption campaigner and very much anti-money laundering, this kind of thing. And we see what DOGE is doing with exposing money laundering right now. And these 70,000 NGOs that the aardvarks are using all across the world to launder money and commit embezzlement crime and steal, right? And Stacey Abrams and just countless numbers of these, and they're finding more every single day. And one place that they've been doing this a lot is in Cambodia. There's over 3,200 NGOs in Cambodia, and I can tell you from experience, I've solicited over 450 of them, and it's all fake, with the exception of a few orphanage NGOs that have adopted like 1,000 kids and are taking good care of these kids and putting them through school, and they're getting English education, and it's amazing. It's quite humbling. The work, it's very humbling actually, the work that these few exceptions are doing an incredible job. But the rest of what I've seen, anything talking development is like an outright fraud, and you can see the fraud and smell it with any interaction you have with these people. And there's been massive amounts of fraud through all of these developing countries, and Cambodia is no exception, being a developing country. And here they go, attacking the Hun Sen family. So attacking the Cambodian government, and Cambodia is a sovereign nation state. They've been genocided at least 5 times before, and were carpet bombed again by the aardvark DOD under Henry Kissinger. For 15 years, they carpet bombed Vietnam, carpet bombed Cambodia, carpet bombed Laos, and here now they're all angry and endlessly demanding the overthrow of the Hun Sen family, the local family, the actual native people who want to have their own sovereignty, want to have, and they've been under sanctions and more taxation by the EU and oppression by the EU and so on. So they've been trying to assassinate Hun Sen and overthrow Hun Sen for ages, and they're largely debanked from the international financial world, just like Russia has all these sanctions on them. Cambodia has fewer sanctions on them than Russia does, but all of these aardvark institutions have done what they can to oppress these poor countries. So now they have a way to get around yet another company, another way to get around all the sanctions and do the people's money, cryptocurrency, blockchain, which is really great for the Cambodian economy. Now they have this way to get money in and out without using the traditional oligarch-controlled systems, the Western unions, everything else. Now they have something like Huawei Pay, and there's some others that are being built in the country as well. This is really positive for the Cambodian economy and small business economy, and is going to be do incredible things for the economy in the future. So it's amazing to read such a one-sided article from the New York Times, but as I was reading through it, and they just call this a money laundering company, a money laundering network that moves billions of dollars at dizzying speed. And we've seen this before. The New York Slimes endlessly campaigning against crypto, against blockchain, and pushing for the CBDC, pushing for the totalitarian demonetization program, right? So, but how easy it is for us to get subverted by them when we read this. They come out talking about money laundering. Of course, there's money laundering happening throughout the entire cryptocurrency industry. But that's done in the US dollar. All the money laundering was on the US dollar system before cryptocurrency came out. So that doesn't mean anything, right? Are they banning the US dollar for that? No, they're not banning the US dollar. They do money laundering through banks. Are they banning banks? No. But they're very pissed off, and they got all of the attention now on the money laundering going on with all these NGOs. So they got to deflect. It's one of their strategies, deflecting the attention off of what DOGE is doing, off of all the money laundering they've been doing in these small countries for a long period of time. And then they point the finger here and start blaming and attach it to the Hun Sen government, which they're trying to overthrow. And of course, the New York Slimes is an intelligence agency, a deep state organization. So, but there are a lot of underworld Chinese all throughout all of Southeast Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and of course Cambodia as well, making these gigantic developments, new casinos, and these gigantic condo buildings in different places. These developing countries are trying hard to get money in, any foreign direct investment that they can get in. It doesn't matter who it comes from. If these Chinese developers want to come and splash billions of dollars on new casinos and apartments and whatnot, and hopefully there's some jobs, or the money comes into the government officials' pockets, or however it gets in, they just want to get it in and then use that to develop other things in the country. So they're doing whatever they can, and just like Trump is bringing in trillions to the American economy, the Hun Sen government is bringing in billions to the Cambodian economy, which is fantastic. And really, he's doing an incredible job. There's over 2,500 skyscrapers going up all at the same time, and a lot in this coastal city of Sihanoukville, it's called. So they got like their own version of Miami going up in here, not as big, and etc. But they have a lot of these casinos, Chinese casinos, and they will make these scam calling centers in there where they have all of these Chinese agents and then these different people calling back to their countries. Lots of Filipinos, lots of Muslims from Singapore and other places, and have them calling back and doing crypto scams on them, or running the pig slaughtering scams with these young Chinese girls they bring over here and pretend that these Chinese girls are in love with some older guy, retiree or something that has money, and stealing their money, this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of that going on wherever these Chinese are. It's not. There haven't been any major Cambodian operations like that, and the Hun Sen government has been shutting those down when they find them. So they talk a little bit about this, but they don't say how to do money laundering, which is very different to the top of the article, where they say the scammer's manual, how to launder money and get away with it. They don't actually ever give any information of how to do that. They just end up blaming the Cambodian government and the Hun Sen family. How dare they think that they can do any development? How dare they, right? And so they paint this one picture, but they don't talk about the other side of it at all, of how people like George Soros have banned all of the non-Israel ally countries from receiving any money. You cannot receive any money on PayPal. You can't receive any money on Cash App, on Stripe, on Square, on Venmo. None of these apps. Only the aardvark countries can access any of those, right? So they got to come up with their own. They got to have their own. So they make their own, or they're using one from China, and then they're doing their different international transactions on this. Oh, that's all money laundering. Oh, that's certainly some money laundering is happening on there. It's happening on every single payment app, of course, right? So then they talk about, remember when they demonized the Silk Road and they put those people in prison? So there's another online bazaar where they say for criminals to find money launderers. And how do they say that? They say, oh, there's Telegram groups. What happens is, oh, there's Telegram groups, right? Which they're marketing those kind of services. So how they associated that to this company, they didn't even say. They just put them in the same article. And then they talk about the royal family, Hun Tu, a cousin of Cambodia's prime minister, is a director of this Huiwan company. I see that as a positive. So you have somebody from the country that can actually look at this, know what's going on. Actually, someone local that will be profiting from the financial transactions, the financial business happening in the country, not only just Chinese. And then they can actually be inside of that, helping to regulate that, trying to make this a positive development for the country, right? Out in the public, out in the open, a regulated financial institution under all of Cambodia's laws and regulations, and done properly, not in the black market, but underneath the financial regulatory system. So this is all legal by Cambodia's laws. And here they say they blame again. The messaging app Telegram has shut down some of its channels. Of course, any of these different messaging apps, Signal, it doesn't matter what it is. Facebook, right? You got child crimes groups still on Facebook by the thousands, and they do nothing about it. So it's a very one-sided article. Certainly, there's going to be, wherever there's cryptocurrency, there's going to be crime. Wherever there's US dollar or any currency, there's going to be crime. Blaming it at all, taking a one-sided approach to this is not. I don't see that as being helpful. I think it's very base level information, and that's how they manipulate people, right? So they talk about the matchmaker groups. Okay, you go in a Telegram group and you can find one of these money launderers, and they do some matchmaking to some others and make the deal. So if you have some money to move, and they pretend like as if somebody can't figure these things out by themselves, how to do it without this, like as if this is such a huge thing. I don't think it's that necessary for anyone to go on a Telegram group and find some way to move some money to launder the money. It's very easy to do that. There's advertisements for this all over Asia. It's not just here. So I'm not sure that that this is really that educational an article, but we saw the deep state in America endlessly, and they're still trying to take down cryptocurrency in America. And this is just, okay, let's get the attention. Let's do a 3-for-1 all at the same time, kill multiple birds with one stone. We got to attack the people's money. We got to attack their freedom. We got to attack cryptocurrency. We got to attack the nationalist countries like Cambodia. We got to attack patriotism. We got to attack populism. We got to go after these people. Hey, let's do it. Let's attack their local financial system that they're building to actually have some kind of payments off of the aardvark SWIFT network and off of our regulated systems that we have. And then we'll even get support from the competitors like Coinbase and Gemini and the Winklevoss twins and the Facebook people and what they're trying to do. We'll get support from them, and let's just paint this and leave out all of the positive development for all of these Cambodians, all of these people that would use some service like this to transfer money internationally to their customers, finally be able to sell goods to the entire world where they're not completely demonetized just as a de facto country, where they're banned off of this and they can't receive any money at all. But when they use these kind of platforms, they can actually receive money and sell goods and services around the world. So they're just demonizing this. And then, so I offer to the New York Slimes to go into this company and do some video recording and meet with them. And they're not interested. They're not passionate about it. They're not passionate about this story to get more information. That was interesting. And then the person was talking immediately. The reporter was talking immediately about going on to the next project. I have other projects I need to do, other articles I need to write. It's like, okay, it just made me think, okay, this is somebody who's given these different projects, very possibly. Oh, we need you to write on something here about this for this purpose. So they do it, and then that's it. And then they move on to the next one. So a possible lack of passion there to have somebody actually investigate this further, because, hey, they did the job, the drive-by attack on Cambodia, on their financial system and the future. But in a developing country that doesn't have these huge investments, isn't going to, they really need to do whatever they can do to get this kind of money, these developments into the country, this kind of investment, and get that trickle down that happens. And that's a lot better than being completely off the financial system and bombed for 15 years in a row.
They should live in plastic tents and have aardvarks bomb them. That's how they should be living.
We can't possibly have more Cambodians thriving in their country, because climate change, overpopulation, the migrant, maybe some of them will want to move to America. We can't right? You can't possibly, and that land is only for us, right? So
the chat saying, did Operation Lockstep ever end? I don't think so. We're still on trajectory for one world government, one way or another, come hell or high water. As we see, they'll throw a million variables against the wall and see what sticks. And we're still marching toward one world government. Make no mistake about that. But they need to significantly depopulate. So the whole medical intervention didn't do as much as I think they really wanted it to do. And so look for more wars, more medical interventions, and so on, because they have to get rid of all these people.
If we can't get you conservatives, your flyover conservatives, to accept our injections, and hey, they admit the COVID conspiracy theorists won. If they can't get you to accept that, and they can't successfully force this onto you and force you into the concentration camps that they literally built to stick you into, and openly said they're going to seize all your assets, if they couldn't succeed with that, and somehow that stopped. I don't know why it stopped. I mean, they had it.
Trump saved us from the humanitarian quarantine camps.
So
even though he was the one that,
so if they can't get you to support that, then they get you. Well, then they can get you to support Aardvark land, and just bomb the hell out of all of them. So they go right back to Kissinger's bombing campaigns and just flip flop between them endlessly. It looks like what they're doing until the left and the right actually wake up and realize that it's the same group on both sides, subverting both sides. And then we know, right, the enemy's domestic, who they actually are.
The call's coming from inside the house. Okay, I think that's all we got for today. Let's play out with, thank you guys for the lively chat. Quite a lively chat there. Should play my footage. Sorry, Barry, I don't have it queued up here. Let me go try to find it. Yeah, lively chat today. Thank you guys for tuning in to Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Quite lovely to see everyone here on Rumble, Rockfin. Or no, we're not on Rockfin. Sorry, I'm so used to saying that. Rumble, Kick, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, X, BitChute. Thank you guys for tuning in to all the channels there. We are on D Live. I think we have one follower, Barry, over there. I had to fill up my stream. We're also, for your listening pleasure, back on Spotify. There's 2 shows up there. I don't know, however people consume their media. Again, the links to everything we talk about just about will be on our Substack, Weaponized News Substack, for deeper dives on any of the subjects that we cover here. You can go there, find a link, and start your journey down the rabbit hole of the many subjects that we're covering here, all tying back together, connecting all the dots to the one world government agenda and the summarily depopulation agenda, which we know is at the end, at the top of the pyramid or the bottom of the rabbit hole, however you want to see it. They want to get rid of us and have their one world government, and they're rolling out all of the robots and AI right now. They don't need the useless eaters anymore, as they've told us. Tomorrow, Barry, I'm going to find your clip, and I'm going to cue it up, and we will play out tomorrow with Barry's activism clip. But today, in the interest of time, because I have it all queued up here, we're a very short clip from Winter Oak via the Duke Report, a video by the author there, Paul Condense. And I don't even know these guys. I followed them. They followed me back. And according to Duke Report, they're putting out good work. The single global mafia, the Rockefeller Foundation's multiple links to Zionism and the military-industrial financial neo-imperialism. And so that's White Oak put out that. But this is a short message from White Oak. Paul Kundink. I don't know. I can never pronounce these names. Anyway, to play us out, thank you, Thomas, for joining us on Alpha Mega Energy on this, what is it, Tuesday. I'm getting dizzy over here. It's been 2.5 hours.
We've got a great guest coming up on Sunday. We're scheduling Sunday, I believe it's 2 p.m. Pacific time.
That won't be on YouTube because it gets into a bunch of public health stuff.
That's a banned. The facts hurt their feelings over it.
A bunch of public health stuff we can't play on YouTube or Facebook. So we'll probably we'll make more announcements as we get closer. Here he is playing us out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, everybody, do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening.
I would like to implore everybody else to do what they can do, to put everything of themselves into fighting this horrendous global mafia and what it's doing to us and what it wants to do to us and to our world and to our children and our grandchildren in the future. I can't tell you what it is that you can do because I don't know what I don't know where you live, anybody who's watching this, and what you do in life, what your state of health is, who you know, what you're capable of doing. But so please let's all just do this, and we can do it because there are 8 billion people in this world, and there's just a tiny handful of these people that want to control us and ruin our lives for their own benefit and profit and status and glory. We can bring them down. I know we can.